Good morning. So I have been asked a couple of times how I make my mask, and I've tried to text people and message people and explain it to them, and they seem a little confused. It's not hard at all, I promise. I am not a sewer or seamstress. I haven't even pulled out my sewing machine in probably over 3 years, and even then, it was small little things that I may have sewn. So I thought I'd show you how that I make them. I make mine. There are plenty of tutorials out there, videos on YouTube and other areas where you can go and look to see how to make the mask. They are very simple how to do that. So these are a couple of masks that I have made here, an example of them. Here's some more over here that I've made, different colors, different kind of prints that are on there to be able to make them just so that they're fun looking and we can enjoy them, especially in these hard days right now. So what you're going to need to make your mask is fabric. I use 100% cotton fabric. I try to buy different prints that we have. I have a bunch more over here of prints that I've already cut out. Here's some Harry Potter here, and then Disney and stuff that I have. So those are different prints. So you'll have the fabric. For adults, I cut out. Okay, so my video got interrupted, so I'm not really sure. Anyway, for adult mask, I use 100% cotton fabric, 9 by 6 inches. I put the wrong side together to begin with, as you can see. Maybe I can. Maybe not. Anyway, the wrong side of the fabric is put together. That's the way you're initially going to sew it that way. You'll have 2 pieces of 1/8 inch elastic. And I know that it's a hard time finding the elastic. I found mine at Joann's fabric more than any place else. I have seen it at Walmart, but not recently. I did order some off of Etsy to be able to get that. And then the other thing you're going to need are bread ties. I use the bread ties. I think they're easiest, they're quickest. It was the cheapest thing. So when you're trying to make a bunch of mask, and so I use the bread ties. And the bread ties go over the top part. It goes over the bridge of your nose to kind of hold the mask in. So those are the parts that you're going to need. Also, I got the bread ties off of Amazon. They came in a big stack like that. So anyway, that would be the things that you need. If you are making a child's mask, you will use 8 by 5 fabric. And the child, I usually say, is like 9, 10, 11, that kind of area. And then if you're making a small child, toddler's mask, I would make a 7 by 4 inch fabric cut. The length of your elastic are going to be, for adults, is 7 inch. For child would be 6 inch. And then for young child, toddler, would be a 5 inch on your elastic. So those are the parts that you're going to need, or the pieces, supplies that you're going to need, besides obviously your sewing machine, to be able to make your mask. So then what you want to do is you're going to take your fabric that you have and you're going to put it in your sewing machine. Do not start at the top and go all the way across. What you want to do is start about 1/3, 1/4 on this side of your fabric. You're going to put that fabric in there like this. And you're going to go ahead and sew just a little bit, not all the way to the end. So you're going to sew across all the way this way. Then you're going to stop. You're going to take your elastic that you have and you're going to put it into the corner. So just open your fabric up. You're going to put your elastic in the middle there. Bring it up to the corner of those 2 pieces of fabric together, like such. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to sew. Reverse it, sew. Bring it just almost to the edge. Keep your needle down into the fabric. Lift your petal. Turn your fabric around. You're going to sew to the other end, making sure that your elastic is out of the way. Go ahead and sew to the other end. Put that down really quickly. Then when you get to that end, sometimes I get too close. You don't want to be quite that close because you want to be able to go in and pick up the fabric. So I just back stitch a little bit. Open up that fabric, bring the elastic into the corner, making sure the elastic is flat and not twisted. Bringing the elastic into the corner of your 2 pieces of fabric. Sew all the way to the corner, back stitch a little bit, come back to the corner. Keep your needle in the fabric, lift, and you're going to turn. Sewing all the way again. All the way, keep going. I have an older machine, so it probably bounces more than others. I don't know, this is my normal machine. Getting almost all the way to that corner there. You're gonna lift up your fabric, put in the other elastic all the way into the corner there. And then you're gonna sew again, all the way to the corner. And usually reverse it over top of it, come back to the corner. Again, making sure that your needle is down in your fabric. Lift, come all around. And again, making sure you don't sew over top that elastic in the middle of that seam. And keep going all the way down. Pick up that elastic again. Again, making sure it's not twisted. And then you're going to sew all the way almost to the edge. You want to sew over top of the elastic, but you don't want to come all the way to the edge. You really want to leave a seam allowance longer on this side than you did on the other side. And you're going to sew again. Reverse over it and sew. Then lift up, and then you're going to come down, and you're going to sew all the way to about the edge here, and then you're going to stop. Sorry, I had to stop. My bobbin ran out of string, so I had to fill my bobbin. So once you get all the way around, you get to this corner, you're going to come back across just a little bit. And then reverse a little and stop right there. You want to leave a little opening or pocket in the top part of your fabric and your sewing, so that is where you'll be able to then, you've left it open there, so then you're going to be able to turn your material right side out. So you're just going to turn it all the way like that, and then once you get it all turned and straightened out, you'll be able to see both sides of your elastic out, and it's sewn into the corners of your material. So there's your material already cut, your mask that's already cut there for you, as you can see. So the next thing you're going to want to do is then pleat your material. So I usually just go ahead and fold it with 3 folds in it that way. Some people don't put the pins in it. I put the pins in it. I find it easier for me to do it. I have seen people who are able to just, as they're sewing, put the just be able to sew and fold in the pleats as they sew. I've tried. I'm just not that good at it. Maybe eventually I will be, but it's easier for me to go ahead and put the pleats in it with the pins before I sew. And then what I'll do is, again, is start at that same point here that I started before when I was inside out. Just start there, go ahead and sew all the way down and around your fabric and all the way back up, and then around back to that corner right there, back to that opening right there. So then you wind up with having your 3 pleats in your material. And then I will wind up taking the pins. After I take my pins out, then you would still have the 2 raw edges at the top. So I decide which is my front, which is my back. I always like my front to be the one where the pleats are coming down, as opposed to where the pleats are going upwards. So once I find the side that I want to be my front, That's the side that I'm going to put the nose piece in, or the bread tie in. And essentially all I do is I lay the bread tie down into that flap right across there. I sew the bread tie in, and then I sew the back side of it, that is the raw edge, and I sew it down flat there. Once I've sewn those two pieces in, then my mask is done. And that's all it is to making my mask. Very simple, very easy. I hope that you can make these if you want to. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, and have a blessed day.